guys, it's Allison Hawkstorm. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded. I've been very busy, but today I'm doing a much requested video of an edit tutorial for my realistic roleplay edits. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope it helps. This is kind of just the basics of realistic roleplay editing with Gimp, which is what I use. It's free. It can be a little bit tricky to learn to use, but you know, it comes with practice. So yeah, I'm just going to go over the basics of how I edit. If you guys didn't know, I do realistic roleplay edits on Instagram. The link is always in the description of my videos, so go and check it out if you haven't already. If you guys want more concentrated tutorials on any of the things that I discuss in these videos or any of the stuff you see on my Instagram, make sure to leave a comment and let me know, and I can definitely make a more in-depth tutorial focusing on just one technique or one thing. But for now, we're going to go ahead and just focus on all of the things. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get started. I'm using a reference. I think references are really good to use. You definitely want to use them. No matter how much experience you have, definitely use a reference. So I'm using the free select tool, which looks like a little lasso, to outline the legs. It's the first thing I usually reposition. And then I'm going to use the rotate and move tools to reposition them. I like to oftentimes put them on their own layers because it makes repositioning a lot easier. Another main tip I have is use layers. Layers are one of your best friends. And you can change the opacity to erase and blend it in nicely with the rest of your photo. Here I'm also just erasing other parts of the leg just to kind of shape it more realistically. So yeah. Now I'm going to reposition the neck and the head. This is usually what I do next. So I'm again using the free select tool to outline my horse's head and neck, and rotating and moving it until I like where it is. Then I change the opacity on the layer, and I can erase pieces that I don't want, and then I reposition the head separately until I like it, and then I just tried something, I didn't really like it. So now I'm starting to fill in, and I use a bunch of different tools to fill in any blank areas in the photo, whether it be background, on the horse, anything really. I will use the paintbrush for more solid colored areas like the legs, which I believe is what I was doing right here. You want to just use the control key and click to get a color from somewhere else in the picture that you want to use. And that's how I blend things in. And then here I'm using the paintbrush tool again, but on the neck I was using the clone tool, which we'll get into later. So the clone tool, you want to control click to select an area, but then when you draw, it will copy whatever is in that area. And it's really useful, especially for horses with like dapples like this. So that's what I'm doing here. You just select the area you want to copy, and then you can clone the horse's dapples or whatever, and it makes editing with patterns a lot easier. And then I blend them in, and I use the blur tool and the smudge tool. Yeah, so I use those two tools to blend, and you just kind of have to mess around. Different tools work better on different areas of the photos, different photos, you know, it's just a personal preference that you'll learn with practice. And I continue to just edit the neck, blend things in, add more colors. So now I'm going to do the same technique to fill in the background, and using the clone tool here. I tend to use the clone tool a lot. Another one that I'll occasionally use is the heal tool, which I didn't use at all in this photo, but you know, it's again personal preference. So I will use the heal tool, the clone tool, and the paintbrush tool to fill in areas. So you just kind of have to work with them and figure out what you guys prefer. And then I kind of go in closer to the leg. I will blur things out and smudge things out to blend them nicely with the rest of the photo. Doing the same thing over here, just using the clone tool, not getting too close to the leg, and then I go back in with a smaller brush and we'll get really close and make it look natural. Then I just blend it out again with the blur and smudge tools. Then I'm just doing the same techniques to fill in the sky areas. Now I'm starting to draw braids. I forgot to mention I did erase his mane and clone Dapples because I wanted to draw braids for this edit. I got really frustrated and cut out a lot of this footage because it took me a really long time to get them to how I like them. So here they are done. And now I'm just changing the braid layer's opacity and erasing it on the neck so that it looks better and neater. So now I'm going to outline the rider completely. I am kind of skipping over her hair because I'm going to change her hairstyle anyway, so I don't need that. So I'm just going to select the entire rider. I'm being really precise about it because it'll make my life easier later. And I'm going to put her on her own layer to make repositioning easier. I also got frustrated with that, so I did skip ahead, but it's not too hard. And now I'm starting to do tack. So the tack in this video is all from StarTack Co, which is startack.weebly.com, and StarTack Co on Instagram. So you can see I just resize and use the shear and perspective tools on the bridle, and then I kind of erase and stuff once I have it where I want it. I also rotated the bit, and then I'm adding a saddle also from StarTack Co, just messing with the size and stuff until I like how it looks. You can also change the visibility on like your rider layer, which is what I did here, so that you don't see that layer and you can just focus on your other stuff. Like I'm focusing on my girth here, making it look natural. And then once I'm done, I'll just put the visibility back on for the rider layer. And then you can just make sure everything looks okay with the rider. So then I'm just repositioning my rider for a hunter class. So I'm putting her heel more down and I'm lowering her lower arm. Not all riders will look the same, so make sure you use a reference for whatever discipline you're doing. This is a hunter edit, like I said. And then I'm just filling in blank spaces with the paintbrush. Now I am erasing her hair and any blank spaces using the same cloning technique. And again, using the same cloning technique on the horse's body where the rider originally was. Now I'm adding a saddle pad, also from StarTack Co, on its own layer. I forgot to mention, if you're going to open tack, you want to go to File and then Open on New Layer or Open New Layer. That's how you're going to insert it on its own layer. And then I'm doing the stirrups, which I just, position where I want and then I erase everything else. Now I'm testing out the reins and starting to draw the reins. I like to do two-tone reins, so I take the lightest color from the bridle, and then later I'll take the darkest color from the bridle. Make sure you use a reference so you know that your rider's hand is holding the rein properly. Here I'm taking the lighter color from the bridle and drawing the rein. And to get a straight line, you want to click with your paintbrush and then hold Shift and pull your mouse away and it'll draw a straight line. And you can click and it will draw that straight line for you. And so now I'm adding the darker shading on the underside of the rein, and then I just take the blur tool and just blur it. You want to be careful that you make your blur tool smaller so that it doesn't blur the reins into the background. And now I'm adding shadows, so I'll put shadows on another layer, and then you just draw black wherever you think shadows should be. I like to put them under the reins, under the rider, and then you're going to change the layer opacity so that they look like shadows. So yeah, that is my edit tutorial. I'm sorry it was so quick. I really hope that this helped you guys. And again, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I will be sure to answer them. And if you guys want more concentrated tutorials on any of these things, make sure you let me know as well, and I will totally try and do that for you. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful, and I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!